इसका मतलब after taking air to its maximum value, after breathing in maximally, what I can breathe out maximally together will form the vital capacity. अगर vital capacity कम हुआ है तो इसका क्या मतलब है? अगर vital capacity कम हुआ है तो इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब ये है कि कहीं ना कहीं लंग में there is some kind of a disease. Okay, so I come back to my question. Out of all these volumes, which volume or volumes helps me in inspiration? Come on, quickly, without wasting time. Out of all these four volumes, which volume helps in inspiration? 1 2 3 4 ये आपको लिखना है. No one? Please type if the KVPY lectures can never be passive lectures. I can't just teach you and go away. Okay. So if you are not participating, might as well don't be a part of the lecture also. Himanish, yes, what you have written is correct. There is one more thing. You need to tell me out of tidal volume and kids, your messages are coming directly to me. Okay. So no one will know what you are going to write. I'm just changing the setting. So aram se, even if you're making a mistake, no problems. Come on. Yes, Prasanna, you're absolutely correct. What about the others? Atharva, what do you think? Khushi, Kiran, what do you think? Nilay, Saloni, Samyak, Tulika, Sakshi, Chetan. Come on, give me your answers. Out of all these four volumes, which volumes will we utilize, or which are the volumes which help in inspiration? Very good, Atharva. Absolutely correct. Khushi, absolutely correct. Ashutosh, फोर्थ इज रेजिडियल वॉल्यूम. रेजिडियल वॉल्यूम का मतलब ये होता है कि वो एयर जो लंग में हमेशा रहता है, तो ना तो वो इंस्पिरेशन में यूज होगा ना तो एक्सपिरेशन, वो लंग में हमेशा रहेगा. ओके, रेजिडुअल वॉल्यूम कहीं पे भी यूज नहीं होने वाला है. राइट हिमनीश, आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड दिस ऑल्सो. यस. सो फॉर इंस्पिरेशन टाइडल वॉल्यूम भी तो हेल्प करता है ना नॉर्मल इंस्पिरेशन के लिए, एंड फोर्स इंस्पिरेशन के लिए इंस्पिरेटरी रिजर्व वॉल्यूम, राइट? So that is why this is called inspiratory capacity. Inspiratory capacity is tidal volume plus IRV. By the same logic, expiratory capacity. Can all of you all write what is expiratory capacity? What plus what? Come on, all of you all please write in the chat box. Expiratory capacity is what plus what? No, Himansh, residual volume does not help us to breathe properly. Residual volume is a volume which is present in the lungs to prevent it from collapsing. So while breathing, there is no exchange. That is what I want to tell you. Expiratory capacity. Yes, Ishwajot. Correct. Atharva. Correct. Saloni. Correct. Yes, you are absolutely correct. It is tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume. And the final one is called functional residual capacity. फंक्शनल रेजिडुअल कैपेसिटी का मतलब क्या है कि फंक्शनल का मतलब है कि नॉर्मली हम यूज नहीं करते जरूरत पड़ने पे. नाउ द वे यू एक्सपायर्ड मतलब फोर्सफुल, जब आप एक्सपिरेशन करते हो, आप सबने अगर किया है तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि यार वो वाला चीज हम लोग नॉर्मली यूज नहीं करेंगे. अगर कुछ बॉडी में अटक गया, लंग में कुछ अटक गया, तो ही हम इतना फोर्सफुली एक्सपायर करेंगे. तो फंक्शनल रेजिडुअल कैपेसिटी इज ई आर वी प्लस आर वी. फंक्शनल रेजिडुअल कैपेसिटी का मतलब क्या है? कौन सा एयर लंग्स में मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द टाइम रहता है. ओके, दिस इज, all these volumes are measured by an instrument called as a spirometer. तो स्पायरोमीटर एक ट्यूब जैसा होता है जिसमें पेशेंट को ब्रीथ करना होता है, और ये जो हवा होता है उसमें एक छोटा बॉल रहता है, वेटलेस बॉल जिसको हम बोलते हैं. तो थोड़ा भी हवा के वजह से इट विल मूव इन. नाउ टेल मी, स्पायरोमीटर इन चारों वॉल्यूम्स में से कौन सा वॉल्यूम मेजर नहीं कर सकता? स्पायरोमीटर इन चारों वॉल्यूम में से कौन सा वॉल्यूम मेजर नहीं कर सकता? वेरी गुड खुशी, वेरी गुड निलय, हिमांश, प्रसन्ना, एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. रेजिडियल वॉल्यूम नहीं मेजर कर सकता है. तो स्पायरोमीटर कैन मेजर टाइडल वॉल्यूम, स्पायरोमीटर कैन मेजर inspiratory reserve volume, spirometer can measure expiratory reserve volume, but it cannot measure residual volume. ठीक है. So quickly just finish copying whatever. I am sorry, I think there was some connection issue. Shabash. But I'll paste it again. Yes, so given that the tidal volume is 600 ml, what is the value of vital capacity of the lung? चलो अभी इसको सॉल्व करके मुझे ए बी सी डी आंसर बताना. चैट बॉक्स में मुझे ए बी सी डी आंसर बताओ. अभी आपको सिखाया मैंने कैसे कैलकुलेट करना है. Come on, quickly.
Sir, we can't text you.
Uh, just 1 second. Uh, ma'am, please make me the host. Ma'am, Just give me uh, like 1 minute. I'll just call up. All right. So tidal volume was, sorry, vital capacity was tidal volume. Vital capacity was tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume plus expiratory reserve volume. Majority of y'all were correct with this. Let's take one more. The gaseous exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the alveolar air and capillaries takes place by. Come on, tell me. A, B, C, or D? Come on. Very good, Kiran. Very good, Himanish. Very good, Atharva. Okay, so just giving you a small tip, yeah, understanding here that the alveoli are made up of a series or a layer of flat epithelium, okay, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं squamous epithelium, right? और जो ब्लड के कैपिलरीज होते हैं, right, they are also made up of squamous epithelium. Now epithelial cells are always resting on a basement membrane, so both of them rest on a basement membrane like this. So oxygen from the air will go into these squamous cells of alveoli. From there it will go to squamous cells of capillaries, and then it will combine with hemoglobin. Now here it always goes from its higher partial pressure to lower partial pressure without spending energy. Without spending energy. Now when things go from their higher level to their lower level without spending energy, we call it passive transport. And in many places, passive transport is also known as diffusion. However, if say a substance goes from a lower concentration to a higher concentration, okay, if he goes from a lower or higher concentration, ऐसा transport करना है, so energy will be required in the form of ATP. तो अगर कोई सब्सटेंस लोअर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन पे है और उसको हायर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन पे ट्रांसपोर्ट करना है, the energy will be required in the form of ATP, and that is called active transport. Now, some substances cannot pass through the cell membrane directly. So, because they cannot pass through the cell membrane directly, they have certain proteins. So, suppose एक substance X है, वो सेल मेम्ब्रेन से डायरेक्टली पास नहीं हो सकता, तो वो X पे चिपकेगा. X will stick onto this protein, and this protein will allow it to pass through. So these proteins are called carrier proteins because they help in carrying substances. So that is the meaning of the third option, carrier mediated transport. The fourth option, imbibition. Imbibition is nothing but adsorption on the surface. Okay, like during monsoon, the wood will absorb a lot of, absorb is surface absorption, it doesn't go deep. Okay, so that is imbibition. So the wood will swell. या अगर आपने सपोज कोई किशमिश, ओके, किशमिश इज अ ड्राइड फ्रूट, वो एकदम ड्रिंकल जैसा रहता है, उसको पानी में डालोगे तो वो स्वेल हो जाता है. यस, सीड्स ऑल्सो स्वेल, दैट इज इम्बाइबिशन. ऑलराइट. ऑलराइट, आई थिंक हम कुछ सर्कुलेशन के क्वेश्चंस कर रहे थे. जस्ट रिमाइंड मी किड्स, डिड वी डू द हार्ट का वाला क्वेश्चन? आई रिमेंबर वी डूइंग हार्ट वाला क्वेश्चन. मतलब कितने हार्ट्स होते हैं फिशेस में, हार्ट के चेम्बर्स. हैव वी डन दैट? चेम्बर्स ऑफ द हार्ट, यस और नो, जस्ट टाइप. यस. Okay, we'll finish respiration ke some questions and then we'll come back to some more circulation ka questions as well. So moving on, in mammals, pleural membranes cover the lungs as well as inside of the rib cage. The pleural fluid between the two membranes, what does it do? What's the function of the pleural fluid? There is a pleural fluid. Okay. So again, it's a divided house. Some of you all have given it correct. Uh, Now what happens is the lung is covered. Of course, it's a very thin membrane, but I just want to draw it in a particular way. It's getting covered by a dual membrane like this. Okay, a dual membrane. So this black is the thoracic cage. This is the thorax, and this one in black is the lung. The triangular part inside is the lung. The covering of the lung is called pleura. Pleura literally means of the lung. Now, the pleura is actually made up of two layers. One is the inner layer of the pleura and the second one is the outer layer of the pleura. The inner layer, whenever we have the word inner, it's visceral. So it is called the inner visceral pleura or inner visceral layer of pleura. And then there is outer parietal layer of pleura, inner visceral layer of pleura and outer parietal layer of pleura. और इनके बीच में fluid होता है. Now inner visceral layer of pleura is attached to the lungs. Outer parietal pleura is attached to the ribs or the thoracic cage. It's an entire airtight chamber, right? तो कैसे होता है, अगर थोरैक्स पुल हुआ, मतलब अगर थोरैक्स बाहर की तरफ पुल होता है तो प्लूरा भी पुल होगा, प्लूरा पुल होगा तो लंग भी पुल होगा और ऐसे फिर लंग एक्सपांड करेगा. सिमिलरली अगर थोरैसिक केज अंदर की तरफ जाता है तो लंग भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होगा बिकॉज दे आर ऑल कनेक्टेड बाय प्लूरा. अब इनके बीच में जो फ्लूइड है इट प्रोवाइड्स फ्रिक्शन, it provides lubrication, okay, between the lungs and the thorax, or it reduces friction, something which undergoes lubrication or it reduces friction. The correct answer is it actually helps in reducing the friction. All right, so let's take up some more questions on circulatory system. um, we've also taken the heart rate of a unborn lady, right? Heart rate of a baby also, that question also we did. All right, so let's move on to this question. Athletes are often trained at high altitudes because is it because their training is at high altitude increases muscle mass, or does it increase red blood cells, or is there a chance of injury, less chance of injury at high altitude, or athletes sweat less at high altitude? What is the scene? Okay, so let's understand this process of formation, process of formation of blood cells. Okay, so together formation of blood cells is called hemopoiesis, also known as hematopoiesis. Okay, poiesis means the process of formation. RBCs are called erythrocytes. So the process of formation of RBCs is called erythropoiesis. Process of formation of WBCs is called leukopoiesis. Process of formation of platelets. Platelets are also called thrombocytes. So thrombocytopoiesis or thrombopoiesis. Together it is called hemopoiesis. Now all blood cells are actually formed in a special tissue in the bone which is called red bone marrow. Bone also has another tissue which is called the yellow bone marrow, which actually stores fat, but red bone marrow is the one which actually helps in production of blood cells. Now there are separate cells in the red bone marrow. For example, for formation of RBCs, the cells are called erythroblasts. So erythroblasts are precursor cells of the red bone marrow. For WBCs, there are cells called myeloid tissue or myeloid cells. Okay. For thrombocytes, the precursor cells are megakaryocytes. Megakaryocytes. Now, erythroblast undergoes a series of changes and it will form erythrocytes. Okay. Myeloid tissue is this is the most complicated formation, leukopoiesis. So remember, erythroblasts are cells of red bone marrow. Myeloid tissue is also a cell of red bone marrow. Megakaryocyte, mega का मतलब होता है big, karyo का मतलब होता है nucleus. So they are cells with big nucleus. Now myeloid tissue goes and forms various types of WBCs. So there are 5 different types of leukocytes. Okay. Now इसमें क्या होता है कि there are two tissues, myeloid tissue and lymphoid tissue. So myeloid tissue helps in the formation of neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils. Lymphoid tissue help in the formation of monocyte and lymphocyte. Megakaryocyte on the other hand do this. Megakaryocytes will rupture. The ruptured parts or the fragments are released. मतलब मेगाकैरियोसाइट टूट जाता है. जब वो टूट जाता है तो अभी जैसे एक एरिथ्रोब्लास्ट एक आरबीसी बनाएगा, राइट? बट एक मेगाकैरियोसाइट हंड्रेड्स ऑफ फ्रैगमेंट्स बनाएगा एंड ईच फ्रैगमेंट इज कॉल्ड अ प्लेटलेट. Each fragment is called a platelet or thrombocyte. So that is why कभी कभी पूछते which of the following are not true cells of blood. Not true cells of blood क्या होने वाला है? Megakaryocytes, sorry, platelets, because they are formed by rupturing. Now because they are formed by rupturing, platelets will not have any nucleus, so they are enucleated. All leukocytes are nucleated. All WBCs are nucleated. Now erythroblasts, that is the precursor cells, ये सब bone marrow के cells है, सब में nucleus होगा, right? Correct? But the final erythrocytes, they gradually lose the nucleus in the process, that is replaced by hemoglobin. Now for this there are certain important things required. There is a hormone called erythropoietin. Erythropoietin helps in erythropoiesis. एंड नॉर्मली हम ये ऑर्गन को एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड में गिनती नहीं करते हैं, बट किडनी प्रोड्यूसेस एंडोक्राइन हार्मोन्स कॉल्ड एरिथ्रोपोएटिन. सो एरिथ्रोपोएटिन प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय द किडनी actually helps in erythropoiesis. Apart from this, for maturation it will also need vitamin B12. It will also need another type of vitamin called folic acid. So ये सब करने के वजह से फिर RBCs होते हैं. So in mammals, RBCs are enucleated, don't have a nucleus, and they are replaced by hemoglobin. So an interesting question that is asked from here is, blood cancer is cancer of? Blood cancer is a cancer of? Come on, tell me. Your option is A RBCs, B WBCs, C platelets. Come on, tell me what is the answer according to you. A, B or C? A RBCs, B WBCs and C platelets. Blood cancer is a cancer of? Very good Kiran. Very good Khushi. Very good Himanish. No, sorry Himanish, you need to change your answer. Now cancer is a problem of cell division. Now they don't have a nucleus, तो इसके लिए blood में इन दोनों का कभी कैंसर हो ही नहीं सकता है. Blood cancer is always a cancer of WBCs because only WBCs have a nucleus. Okay. So blood cancer is a cancer of WBCs. That is why blood cancer is also called leukemia. It is extreme increase in the number of WBCs. Now, what is the cause of erythropoietin being released by the kidney? So, when does kidney release erythropoietin? Kidney releases erythropoietin when the number of RBCs in the blood decreases or the partial pressure of oxygen decreases. So जब नेचर में हवा में ऑक्सीजन कम होगा तो उसके आरबीसीज भी ज्यादा होंगे. What is the increase of RBCs called? Increase of RBCs will be some cancer of red bone marrow. It is called polycythemia. Okay. Yeah, it's not a cancer of blood. Okay. So erythropoietin is released only when the quantity of RBC decreases or पार्शियल प्रेशर ऑफ ऑक्सीजन डिक्रीजेस. मतलब अगर हमारे बॉडी को कम ऑक्सीजन मिल रहा है तो ग्रेजुअली, बिकॉज आरबीसीज बनने को, ये प्रोसेस होने को 120 दिन लगता है, 120 डेज. सो हमारे बॉडी को थोड़ा सा अक्लिमेटाइज करते करते एटलीस्ट 3-4 दिन का तो समय लगता ही है टू सडनली इंक्रीज अ लॉट ऑफ आरबीसीज इन ब्लड. कम से कम 7 से 10 दिन तो कम से कम लगता है. तो अगर कोई माउंटेन्स पे जाता है और वहीं पे रहता है तो इनिशियली जब माउंटेन्स पे जाएंगे तो ब्रेथलेसनेस होगा, बिकॉज माउंटेन्स में एट हायर ऑल्टीट्यूड्स ऑक्सीजन का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन कम है. But once you stay there for a week and a half, your body gets used to it, and your body gets used to it because the a lot of erythropoietin will be produced, and sorry, the process of erythropoiesis doesn't take 120 days. RBCs are alive for 120 days. That's the lifespan of RBC. Out of the 3 blood cells, RBC का lifespan सबसे ज़्यादा है. तो within 7-8 days, partial pressure बढ़ जाता है. So training at high altitude increases the number of RBCs. Okay. So this is a question where respiration and RBCs दोनों को combine किया जा सकता है. ठीक है. All right. So let's move on. Let's take up the next question here. The pulmonary artery carries. चलो बताओ क्या है pulmonary artery? What does it carry? Come on in the chat box. What do you think? This is a pretty easy question that was asked in 2014. Yes, yes, all of you all are absolutely correct in this. Now, just a couple of things. What is the meaning of the word artery? Artery is a blood vessel. Artery is a blood vessel which carries blood. Artery is a blood vessel which carries blood away from the heart. So, any blood vessel which carries blood away from the heart is an artery. And vein, this is very, very important. Vein is a blood vessel which carries blood towards the heart. ठीक है. Now the heart actually exchanges blood with, मतलब just to simplify that, the heart is actually exchanging blood with lungs and all other organs of the body. तो उसको मैंने ऐसे organs लिखा हुआ है. So what happens is deoxygenated blood, blue color में denote कर रहा हूँ, goes from organs to the heart. From there it goes to the, from the heart to the lungs, lungs will oxygenate blood, give it back to the heart, and from the heart, the oxygenated blood will go back to the organs. So you realize that 1 and 2 are arteries and 3 and 4 are veins. Now, anything associated with the lungs will have the word pulmonos. Pulmonos का मतलब होता है lungs. So pulmonary. So this will be called pulmonary artery and this will be called pulmonary veins. This is the largest blood vessel which will divide to form smaller blood vessels. It is called aorta, and there are two large veins called vena cava, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Yes. So this is about the pulmonary artery and the various arteries which are available and veins which are available. Okay. Human mature red blood cells don't contain. What do they not contain? Okay. Now, uh, definitely A is not the answer because they contain hemoglobin which contains iron. Cytoplasm also, it's a cell, it contains cytoplasm, it does not contain nucleus, that's also correct. Hemoglobin is also there, mitochondria is absent. तो क्या होता है आरबीसी नॉर्मली अगर मैं देखूँ ना तो न्यूक्लियस होता है न्यूक्लियस इज सराउंडेड बाय न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन nuclear membrane is the membrane continues as endoplasmic reticulum and endoplasmic reticulum forms various cell organelles. अब क्योंकि आरबीसी के पास न्यूक्लियस ही नहीं है तो आरबीसीज डू नॉट और ह्यूमन आरबीसीज और आरबीसी डज नॉट हैव न्यूक्लियस नहीं है तो it does not have endoplasmic reticulum. I hope you're taking down notes because with every concept that I'm teaching you, I'm giving you additional information and the concept involved in solving many other questions of that kind. Okay. Endoplasmic reticulum can give rise to Golgi bodies and Golgi bodies gives rise to lysosomes. So RBCs don't have endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, lysosome and mitochondria. Okay, moving on. The next question is match the column different types of the heart A, B, C, D. Column A is PQR, column B is 1, 2, 3. Okay, Kiran, you are correct. Khushi, you're correct. So understand the meanings of these words. Okay, neurogenic heart. Neurogenic heart is a heart in which electricity or electrical impulses from the brain, electrical impulses from the brain. Neurogenic heart is a heart in which electrical impulses from the brain control heart. मतलब the heartbeat is completely controlled by electrical impulses of the brain. न्यूरो का मतलब होता है न्यूरॉन. द स्टडी ऑफ ब्रेन इज कॉल्ड न्यूरोलॉजी. जेनिक, जेनिक का मतलब होता है टू जेनरेट, जेनेसिस. द ऑपोजिट ऑफ दिस इज कॉल्ड अ मायोजेनिक हार्ट. मायोजेनिक हार्ट का मतलब होता है, मायो का मतलब मसल. सो मायोजेनिक हार्ट इज अ हार्ट इन विच electrical impulses for heartbeat are produced by the muscles of the heart itself, produced by muscles of heart itself. And that is why a myogenic heart is also called an autorhythmic heart. And the myogenic center in the human heart and mammalian heart is the SA node. Correct? Sinoatrial node, electrical conduction में सुना होगा. तो neurogenic heart is found in invertebrates and myogenic heart is found in vertebrates. Now, I discussed this last class with you. Can you tell me what is the meaning of the word branchi or branchial? Take care, it is not bronchial, it's not bronch, it is branchial. What is branchial? Good, Kushi. No, Nilay. Branchial means related to gills. Cutaneous matlab related to skin. So branchial का मतलब है gills. So the heart related to gills मतलब two chambered heart. याद है, सिखाया था आपको. The heart which is associated with gills, two chambered heart, that is called a branchial heart, and the heart associated with lungs is called the pulmonary heart. So now with this information, I think all of you should be able to match the columns. Look at the columns and now tell me whether the answer is A, B, C or D. Yes, Saloni, correct. Yes, Ishwajot, correct. Neurogenic heart is found in invertebrate, जिसका vertebral column नहीं होता. तो king crab is an invertebrate. Branchial heart मतलब जिसको gills होता है. Shark is a fish जिसको gills होता है, तो branchial heart उसका होगा. Pulmonary heart मतलब lungs के साथ associated है. मेरे को एक बात बताओ, इसमें से किसके पास, दोनों में से किसके पास सिंगल सर्कुलेशन होगा और डबल सर्कुलेशन होगा? सिंगल सर्कुलेशन किसके पास होगा? बी. बी, राइट, बी फॉर ब्रैंकियल एंड पी फॉर पल्मोनरी. सिंगल सर्कुलेशन. B for branchial and yes, all of you are absolutely correct. Single circulation will be in a branchial heart. Blood passes through the heart only once. And double circulation is seen in a pulmonary heart. The blood passes through the heart twice. That's great. Okay. Now this should be easy for you. The next question should be easy for you. Let me see how many of you all give me the answer very quickly. Erythropoietin is produced by which organ? Come on. A, B, C, or D? Himanish, think again, please. So there is only one answer. Erythropoietin. अभी 2 मिनट पहले किया था. Erythropoietin is a hormone which is produced by the kidney. Erythropoietin is a hormone which is produced by the kidney. Erythropoiesis is occurring in the bone marrow. So erythropoietin produced by the kidney is given to the bone marrow. Okay. All right. Let's take this question now. Again an interrelationship between respiration and circulation. Which of the following organisms respire through skin? Okay. Yes, Himanish. Yes, Nilay. Aryan, Kiran. Absolutely correct. Yes, absolutely correct. Blue whale, platypus, both of them are mammals. Can anyone tell me how does a blue whale respire? Very good, Khushi. Blue whale. What will be the organs of breathing? Yes, blue whale and dolphins are mammals which, even though they are living in water, they respire through lungs. Platypus, also known as duckbill platypus, it's an egg-laying mammal that also respires through lung. Peacock is a bird which also respires through lung. Bacha, salamander, frog, toad, they are amphibians, and amphibians have a moist, slimy skin so that they can respire through skin. Good job, everyone. Next. This should also be easy now. Let's see how many of you all get this quickly. Which of the following human cells lack a nucleus? Which of the following human cells lack a nucleus? Yes, all of you all are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Answer is neutrophil. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The maximum number of oxygen molecules that can bind to maximum number of hemoglobin molecules that can bind to one molecule of hemoglobin is Yeah, some people are asking, sir, what is keratinocyte? Keratinocyte is a cell of the skin which produces keratin, the surface layer of skin. Now, how many oxygen molecules can bind to hemoglobin? Answer is 4. Okay, I'll take that in the on the next slide. Now, hemoglobin is actually a combination of two words. It is heme, it's a complex iron containing part. It contains iron in the ferrous state, and it will contain proteins called globulins. So these are the protein part. Now, one hemoglobin has 4 heme and 4 globulins. Okay? Now, oxygen will get attached to heme, and carbon dioxide in hemoglobin they attach to globulins. That's why they attach at different points. मतलब, that's why hemoglobin can carry oxygen, carbon dioxide. So hemoglobin hence can combine with maximal 4 oxygens. Similarly, one hemoglobin can combine maximally with 4 carbon dioxide. Hemoglobin, when combines with oxygen, is represented like this, HbO2, which is called oxyhemoglobin. Okay, so one hemoglobin, 4 oxygens. Okay, similarly, one hemoglobin can combine with 4 carbon dioxide. Hemoglobin combining with carbon dioxide is not called carboxyhemoglobin. It's called carb amino hemoglobin. Carb because carbon, amino because globulins are proteins, they contain amino acids. तो उसके amino group पे वो attached होते हैं. So carbon is attached at the amino group, that's why it's called carb amino hemoglobin. Hemoglobin can also combine with carbon monoxide. When it combines with carbon monoxide, then it is called carboxyhemoglobin. Now, can you tell me, out of carbon monoxide, out of and carbon dioxide and oxygen, अगर तीनों equal quantities में है, hemoglobin किससे attach होगा? Or in other words, out of the 3 gases, hemoglobin has the maximum affinity for. Yes, some people are giving the correct answer. Many are giving wrong answer. This is the order of affinity. In terms of affinity, hemoglobin has greatest affinity for carbon monoxide, 100%, carbon dioxide 99, and oxygen is around 97 to 98%. That means once hemoglobin forms carboxyhemoglobin, it is irreversible because 100% affinity hai. And that is why carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas. Remember, carbon monoxide never existed in nature. It is man-made gas. It is a component of our vehicular exhaust. तो अगर बहुत ज़्यादा कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड कोई इनहेल कर लेगा वो मर जाएगा बिकॉज उसका हीमोग्लोबिन उसको छोड़ेगा ही नहीं एंड इट विल नॉट बी एबल टू ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑक्सीजन और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. ये दोनों के पास भी 100% एफिनिटी नहीं दिया है बिकॉज हीमोग्लोबिन का काम ऑक्सीजन से कंबाइन करना नहीं है. हीमोग्लोबिन का काम है कि एल्वियोलस से ऑक्सीजन लेना और टिश्यूज को ऑक्सीजन देना. ठीक है. Okay. Uh, let's try to answer this question now. Myeloid tissue is a type of. Myeloid tissue is a type of. Come on, tell me. A, B, C, and D. Yes, all of you all are absolutely correct. Myeloid tissue is a type of hematopoietic tissue. Helps in hematopoiesis. So that completes most of the questions which have been asked in circulation. Let's move to endocrinology. Okay? Come on, tell me. Gigantism and acromegaly are due to defects in which gland? Defects in which gland? Good Kiran, good Himanish. No, I'm sorry Himanish. Change your answer. Good Khushi. Nilay, Samyak. Okay. Pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is also called the master endocrine gland. Like scientifically, lung is pulmonous, pituitary gland is hypophysis. Pituitary gland is divisible into two parts, anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary forms the major part of pituitary and it secretes its own hormones. So that is why it's called adenohypophysis. Adeno का hypophysis is pituitary. Adeno का मतलब secreting. It's also called the anterior pituitary. Adenohypophysis secretes its own hormones. Okay. Now what are the hormones that it secretes? It secretes all in all 6 hormones. And I remember it as GP flat. The first hormone is called the growth hormone. P stands for prolactin. F stands for follicular stimulating hormone. L stands for luteinizing hormone. FSH, acronym FSH, acronym LH. Both of these act on male and female gonad, that is testis and ovary. So they are called gonadotrophins. A is for ACTH, which is adrenocorticotropic hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone. It will stimulate the adrenal gland. T stands for TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. So it is controlling the growth, it is controlling prolactin, matlab helps the mammary glands to produce milk. Then FSH and LH, they help in the development of gonads and help in releasing hormones and gametes from the gonads. Okay. Now growth hormone का deficiency, okay, और growth hormone का excess, hyper secretion, has different effects in children and in adults. Because growth hormone helps in growth, तो children में क्या होता है, अगर deficiency जल्दी हो गया तो उनका growth stunted रह जाता है. So in children, um, the deficiency of growth hormone causes dwarfism, and excess in children causes gigantism, where the height will be very, the person will have a big shape and structure. But adults में already bone बन चुका है, तो excess growth hormone will cause the tips to become bigger. Acro का मतलब होता है tips, mega का मतलब होता है large, so acromegaly is the tips becoming large. And in adults, the deficiency of growth hormone causes a disease where there is early aging. That's called Simmons disease. So pituitary gland is not only controlling growth, it is controlling gonads, which are other endocrine glands. It controls adrenal gland, which is another endocrine gland. It controls thyroid gland, which is another endocrine gland. The second part of pituitary gland is called neurohypophysis. It is called neurohypophysis or posterior pituitary. It's present a little behind. Yeah, it stores hormones produced by hypothalamus of the brain. That is why it's called posterior pituitary. And the two hormones that it actually stores and releases is called ADH, anti diuretic hormone. एंटी का मतलब होता है अगेंस्ट, डाईयूरेसिस का मतलब होता है मोर यूरिन. So anti-diuretic hormone, a hormone with more, which prevents more urine. So it's a water-saving hormone. The same hormone causes compression of blood vessels. That is why it's called vasopressin. Vaso का मतलब होता है blood vessel. Then it also releases another hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is also called the birth hormone because it stimulates the uterus to cause contraction and deliver the baby out. So the answer to this question is definitely pituitary. So pituitary produces 6 hormones from anterior pituitary and 2 hormones for in posterior pituitary. So all in all 8 hormones. So out of all the endocrine glands, it produces maximum hormones. Of course, ADH and oxytocin, it is not producing on its own, it is only releasing. It only releases. All right. Children, can you just tell me till what time was this class announced? Please write in the chat box till what time was this class announced? 6:30 to what? 8. Okay, okay, okay. So we have time for like at least 4-5 more questions. Right? Let me take up some more questions on the endocrine system. Right. Let's take this. Right. A diabetic individual becomes unconscious after self-administrating insulin. What should be done immediately to give him revival? क्या करना चाहिए for revival? Now, all those who are giving the answers, obviously these questions are available in the public domain. You would have solved it. I hope you understand the concept behind it. If you have not, please ask. Okay. Now let's look at this in a. Okay. So now the hormone in question is by pancreas. Pancreas is actually a heterocrine gland. Yes, Ishwajot, you are correct. Kiran, Khushi, you are both of you all are correct. So pancreas is a heterocrine gland. Heterocrine gland का मतलब क्या है? It has endocrine component as well as exocrine component. Now, endocrine component produces hormones, whereas the exocrine component produces pancreatic juice. Yes, which contains a lot of enzymes for digestion. Now, the exocrine component of pancreas is called acini. Singular is acinus. So basically, they are nothing but small tubes which can actually produce enzymes. So when I take a cut section of the pancreas, so I am going to have acini at, है ना, पूरे इसमें acini होता है. और इन acini के बीच में there are some cells which are scattered. So tubes होते हैं और उनके बीच में cells scattered होते हैं. So the endocrine part are called islet cells. Islets का मतलब होता है in between. They're called islets. It was discovered by a gentleman called Langerhans. So they are also called islets of Langerhans. There are three types of cells in islets of Langerhans. So alpha cells, beta cells, and delta cells of islets of Langerhans. The alpha cells of islets of Langerhans will produce a hormone called glucagon. Beta cells of islets of Langerhans will produce the hormone insulin. Delta cells of islets of Langerhans produce a hormone called somatostatin. Somatostatin decreases the effect of growth hormones. Somato का मतलब होता है बॉडी का ग्रोथ. सो ये ग्रोथ हार्मोन की एक्टिविटी को रेगुलेट करता है. तो बॉडी में अगर बहुत ज़्यादा ग्रोथ हार्मोन हो गया तो सोमैटोस्टैटिन उसके इफेक्ट को कम कर देगा. बट प्राइमरीली जो हमारा फूड का मेटाबॉलिज्म है या कार्बोहाइड्रेट मेटाबॉलिज्म है उसमें ग्लूकागॉन और इंसुलिन एक दूसरे को बैलेंस करते हैं. सो ग्लूकागॉन डज दिस. It will ensure that the blood glucose level is higher. So it increases blood glucose level. That means whatever glucose is stored in animals, stored glucose is in the form of glycogen, and liver is the one which stores maximum glucose. So ये stored glucose को liver से blood में लेके आता है. And insulin on the other hand is a hormone which reduces blood glucose level. इनफैक्ट अगर इंसुलिन नहीं होगा, अगर इंसुलिन नहीं होगा तो सेल्स won't be able to take glucose. हर सेल को ग्लूकोज चाहिए, राइट, फॉर रेस्पिरेशन, टू ब्रेक इट डाउन एंड रिलीज एनर्जी. won't be able to take glucose. Now remember a suffix. A suffix emia. Emia means in blood, right? So glucagon causes high blood sugar. So glucagon causes hyperglycemia. and insulin causes hypoglycemia, decreased sugar in blood. Now between the two you have to tell me G and I ही type करना है आपको. Between the two, can you tell me which one, which one, which hormone will be higher in the body when you are starving? Suppose तुमने 8-9 घंटे से कुछ नहीं खाया है और मैं तुम्हारा ब्लड लूं तो कौन सा हार्मोन मुझे ज्यादा मिलेगा तुम्हारे ब्लड में, ग्लूकागॉन की इंसुलिन? कम ऑन, जी और आई क्विकली. आपने 7-8 घंटे से कुछ नहीं खाया है तो आपके ब्लड में वैसे ग्लूकोज कम है. तो क्योंकि ग्लूकोज कम है, यस किरण, निलय, खुशी, आपका ब्लड ग्लूकोज बढ़ेगा विद द हेल्प ऑफ ग्लूकागॉन. So that is why glucagon is also called the starvation hormone. Now, आपने खाना खाया है, जस्ट खाना खाया है, तो धीरे खाना खाते ही धीरे धीरे एक सवा घंटे में कौन सा हार्मोन आपके ब्लड में ज्यादा रहेगा? खाना खाने के 1 घंटे के बाद अगर मैंने आपका ब्लड चेक किया तो आपका कौन सा हार्मोन ज्यादा रहेगा? इंसुलिन. करेक्ट. क्यों ज्यादा रहेगा? बिकॉज द डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम इज गोइंग टू अब्सॉर्ब ऑल द फूड एंड इट इज गोइंग टू गिव इट टू ब्लड. सो ब्लड में ग्लूकोज बढ़ेगा, इंसुलिन क्या करेगा? ग्लूकोज को सेल्स में दे देगा. राइट तो अभी क्या बोल रहा है, एक डायबिटिक इंडिविजुअल है हु हैज सेल्फ एडमिनिस्टर्ड इंसुलिन, मतलब उसने इंसुलिन ले लिया, खुद इंसुलिन ले लिया बिना डॉक्टर के कंसेशन से, और वो अनकॉन्शियस हो गया. तो इसका मतलब इंसुलिन ज्यादा लिया है. मतलब इंसुलिन क्या करने वाला है? इंसुलिन कॉजेज ब्लड ग्लूकोज टू कम डाउन. तो अगर वो अनकॉन्शियस हो गया है तो इसका मतलब क्या है? उस इंडिविजुअल का ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल कम हो गया है. तो ये थोड़ा ट्विस्टेड क्वेश्चन था. तो यू प्रोवाइड हिम विथ शुगर. ओके. Now understand the meaning of the word diabetes. Diabetes का मतलब होता है more urine. There are two diseases which are called diabetes जिसमें more urine होता है. One is called diabetes mellitus and the second one is called diabetes insipidus. Mellitus का मतलब होता है honey. So basically diabetes mellitus simply stands to urine with sugar, sugar in urine. Insipidus means tasteless. तो पहले पता है लोग, अभी नहीं बहुत साल पहले लोग यूरिन टेस्ट करवाते थे और उनको बोलते थे कि भाई शुगर जैसा टेस्ट हो रहा है मतलब डायबिटीज है. ठीक है, तो इसके लिए वो आया था इंसिपिडस, टेस्टलेस. डायबिटीज mellitus is caused because of deficiency of insulin. Diabetes insipidus is caused because of deficiency of ADH. Remember, antidiuretic hormone, also called vasopressin. अगर वो बॉडी में कम हो गया तो हमारा यूरिन को रोकने वाला हार्मोन चला गया तो यूरिन ज्यादा होगा. In diabetes mellitus, I am going to have polyuria, also known as diabetes. पॉलीयूरिया का मतलब होता है मोर यूरिन. यूरिया का स्पेलिंग देखो, URIA है. यूरिया इज अ नाइट्रोजीनियस कंपाउंड. यूरिया एज अ सफिक्स मींस इन यूरिन. तो इसमें भी पॉलीयूरिया होता है. अब क्योंकि आप इतना पानी लूज कर रहे हो तो थर्स्ट भी आ जाती है. सो पॉलीडिप्सिया इज इंक्रीज थर्स्ट. दिस इज ऑल्सो गोइंग टू हैव पॉलीडिप्सिया. इसमें भी उसको थर्स्ट बहुत लगेगा. बट वन थिंग विच सेपरेट्स द टू is a condition called polyphagia. Phage means to eat. सो इंक्रीज एपेटाइट और इंक्रीज्ड हंगर, क्योंकि क्या होता है सेल्स को ग्लूकोज नहीं मिलता है क्योंकि इंसुलिन नहीं है। तो ब्लड में भले ही ग्लूकोज ज्यादा हो, सेल को ग्लूकोज नहीं मिलता है, तो सेल सिग्नल देता है ब्रेन को कि भाई मेरे को तो खाना ही नहीं मिल रहा है। तो ब्रेन को जैसे ही सिग्नल मिलता है खाना नहीं मिल रहा है, द रिस्पॉन्स इज भूख लगती है, आप ज्यादा खाना खाते हो। ऑल्सो these people may have glucose in urine. Glucose in urine is glycosuria. ठीक है ना, इसमें भूख नहीं लगती है और ग्लूकोज भी कम होता है, राइट। बट ये हमारा वाटर होल्डिंग हार्मोन है। तो दोनों में अगर मैं पॉलीयूरिया कंबाइन करूं तो इसमें कंपेयर करूं तो इसमें बहुत ज्यादा पॉलीयूरिया होता है, और हेंस इसमें बहुत ज्यादा पॉलीडिप्सिया भी होता है, थर्स्ट भी ज्यादा लगता है, और एक आदमी हमेशा बार बार पानी पीते रहता है। ठीक है, दैट इज वाई डायबिटीज इंसिपिडिस इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड द ड्रिंकर्स डिजीज। नाउ नॉर्मली बोलचाल में अगर सिर्फ डायबिटीज दिया है, you should take it as diabetes mellitus because that's more common, but you also have to understand that diabetes insipidus भी ऐसा होता है। okay, just one more minute, we'll just complete this question. Again, this is easy based on whatever information I just gave you. Which of the following hormones is produced by the pancreas? Come on, tell me quickly. Which of the hormones are produced by the pancreas? All right, kids. Yes, it's out of this, the answer is glucagon. B. Prolactin is produced by pituitary. Prolactin is produced by pituitary. Luteinizing hormone also produced by pituitary. Epinephrine. Epi means above. Nephros का मतलब होता है kidney. Epinephros is another word for adrenal gland. Adrenal gland. Epinephrine is also called adrenaline. So adrenaline is produced by adrenal gland. All right, kids, we'll stop here. We'll continue next class. We will finish with this and we will maybe take up some genetics questions. Yeah, because after human physiology, maximum questions that come, they come from uh, genetics, right? If you have any questions, any queries, you can ask me. If not, thank you very much. Bye bye and see you next class. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nilay. Bye bye.